Hello, everyone. Hi. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Is that all right? Yeah, there we go. How is everyone? Everybody good? Welcome to Sunday. Yes. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Joel. Say hello to Joel Tilson, our official floor director, human rights activist extraordinaire, fighting the good fight to help veterans get full benefits. Good to see you all. Hi, Jane. Let me go ahead and open here so that I can make sure I didn't miss any comments as people shuffle into brunch. Looks like people are shuffling slowly into the brunch. Hi, Pam Kuchnerik. Thank you for your membership. We had a pretty big remote view last night that I have to give. I gave you guys part of it last night. Then I went back into remote. Was not fun. Joel is here having a very nice weather over in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Not too cold, not too hot. Joyce Pietras, hello. 16 days left to the election. That's right, Joel. Please let us know, those of you who are joining us, if you have voted early. What state are you coming from? Who'd you vote for? What you eating? What you drinking? This brunch table extends to the four corners of the earth. So please take a seat and be sure and say hi to the persons next to you at this large brunch table. We welcome you. We welcome everyone. We don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. Be educated about the issues, know the issues, know the candidates, and vote. Get out and vote. Of course, I'm voting for Harris Waltz, straight blue, no matter who, but that doesn't mean we don't want you here and we don't welcome you. We are civilized people. We can agree to disagree. Or maybe you're from a country, you're not an American, and you're not going to be voting at all, but you just want to hang out with us and enjoy brunch and talk about the remote views, in which case that's great. I have not had breakfast yet. I just I woke up at 8:30, my cat kissing me, which is usually how she wakes me up, and now I'm having a coffee. I look forward to that. I ordered a large 48-ounce bag of eco-friendly whole beans. This company, I guess, they get rid of they plant trees if you buy their coffee. So we'll give it a whirl. It's organic. I should get that in the next couple of days. I'm just using the last of my Jamaican Blue Mountain that my friend Ville Verde was kind enough to send. I'm also having a nice glass of water. And I got to try my Moonwalkers. Yes, I got my Moonwalkers in the mail yesterday. Those are the electric walking shoes or electric skates. They stop when you stop, so you're less likely to fall on them. It was a little scary, but zoom, every time you put your foot down, zoom, they push you forward a little bit, and they go as fast as you walk. Like if you walk slowly, they won't be much power, but if you walk quickly, you can get up to 7 miles an hour, which, is kind of cool. Got a lot of comments from people when I was going downtown saying, "Where'd you get those?" If you decide to get them, you go to Moonwalkers, and I think they charge $60 a month if you get on their payment plan. So it's not too awful if you are looking for a way to get back into shape, have some fun, and you're walking around. They're heavy though. They're as heavy as roller skates. Because they are roller skates. But if you're comfortable with the weight of roller skates, you should be fine with Moonwalkers. But I got the Moonwalkers Aero, which are 4.5 pounds each. And yeah, they're heavy, but it's not that bad. I just use them like skates. L'chaim, everyone. All right, Joyce Pietris is in the house. Thank you for your help today. Thank you for your membership. Joanna Carson, having a beautiful day. Welcome and thank you for your membership. Goddess Val, hello. She's in Southeast Florida. I hope you didn't get too much of Milton. Jane mailed her ballot yesterday. Let us know which state. Blue all the way. Good. Okay. Debbie Brady, she is a talent manager here on YouTube. She looks for new talent, and she is also a creative director who designed my channel, and very nice woman. So she's also heading our fan pages over at Facebook. Much appreciation for all her hard work. Yolanda Aranda, hello. She is in Oakland, California. Hezbollah surrender soon. Well, as many of you know, Hamas, they lost their leader. So now Israel is about to retaliate. It's very likely that we could see the fall of Iran leadership because the people of Iran don't want they don't want Khamenei in their hold on, what did I do here? Oh, I got to sign in here. That's what it is. So they don't want Khamenei. So what happened is that they're now about to retaliate. And then the other proxy army, because these are proxy armies of Iran, Hamas and Hezbollah, they were going to work together to take out Israel. But now it's being reported that hundreds and hundreds of Hamas fighters are surrendering. And you can see the surrender happening. This guy was wounded. He's in a wheelchair. So what are we looking at? Probably we're looking at phase 1, phase 2. Some of these guys are wounded. When I say phase 1, phase 2, as many of you know, we supplied phases to the IDF December 20th, 2023. How do we see the least amount of deaths? And it would be an exchange of hostages for Hamas, and that they would be lured to a host country. But yeah, this is happening as we speak. So we're looking at potentially giving them an opportunity to surrender. Then if there are any hostages still alive, we would get the hostages back, and then countries that are willing to take Hamas fighters would take in the Hamas fighters. We would do a phase 2 exchange of hostages and send Hamas to host country. Then we can begin the rebuild. We can't begin the rebuild until we've gotten rid of the terrorist in the area. So we could be looking right now at getting very close to ceasefire and exchanging hostages. Simultaneously, we're seeing Putin becoming increasingly isolated, and we're also watching Iranian leadership being dismantled. Yeah. Any questions about that? Any questions about that? We've gone over that a lot. Hi, Karina Maruzin. Hi, Jane. Good to see you here. Thank you for subscribing. JR, hello. Goddess Val. Good to see you. So yeah, did you vote yet? Voted blue down ballot. Good. Gail did in Tampa. I have not voted yet. I'm in Oregon, which I don't think that's in play, but I'll probably vote this week. Looks like we are raising money for Feeding America Together. As you know, Thanksgiving is coming up. It's just around the corner. It'll be here next month. Yes. So every year we like to raise money so that Americans can enjoy, who don't have enough food to eat, can enjoy a nice Thanksgiving. And of course, Feeding America Together is something we do all year long. This is a continuation of last year's uh, fundraiser where we raised $7,637 last year. We're continuing it again for anybody who would like to help Feed America. And we thank Feed America for that promotion. Other thing I want to announce is that we do have a new book of the month. For those of you who would like to join our book of the month club, we get together once a month after Taco Tuesdays. Chuck and I, we're big avid readers, Chuck and I. And he and I select a book that we want to read. And then we bring the author, we bring them onto the show and we talk about the book. And it's a lot of fun. So I try to stagger fiction, nonfiction, so that you guys don't get bored. Oh, another fiction. Oh, another nonfiction. You know, I try to make it interesting. So the true nature of energy. This is a book I'm really excited about because energy is neutral, but intent. You know, so you combined the energy with the intent of the individual, and then you can drive the energy where you want it to go. But it's neutral. Energy is neutral. So the true nature of energy, transforming anxiety into tranquility, written by Diane Wing, and she hopefully will be on our show in the middle of November. We're going to have her on right before Thanksgiving, I think, and that should be a lot of fun. You don't have volume. Can everybody hear me okay? Do I need to turn up the volume? I can turn up the volume if that's what people need. Okay, I put that volume up, and then I can put the volume up here as well, and hopefully people will be able to hear me okay. There we go. Now my volume is up. Can you hear me better now? Sound is good? Awesome. Thank you for the anonymous donation. Is everybody ready for remote views? Yeah, you guys want to hear some remote views? Okay, so the first thing I would talk about is polling and how polling is getting manipulated. This is something that people are feeling a little bit nervous about because nobody really knows what the heck is going on. Nobody knows what's going on with the polling. And, you know, is Trump winning? Because we now, 538 is no longer Nate Silver, it's now ABC News. But according to their polling, Trump is now winning 52 times out of 100, it has flipped. So it started with a strong lead for Harris, and then it became flipped according to their polls, and now shows Trump winning, which is similar to what we saw with when he went up against Hillary Clinton. She started off at 85%, and then she started dropping down to 70% or left after Labor Day. And that could have been because of Comey, but according to Lichtman, there were a lot of reasons that Trump won. That was not just what happened with Hillary Clinton. Now, he said that Gore won, and probably Gore did win. Something like 150,000 votes were thrown out of Florida. So for that reason, what I think is that just because we win doesn't mean we're going to win as Democrats, if you are a Democrat. And that's because elections get stolen. Elections get stolen. And this is why we cannot get complacent and we can't get comfortable if we are Democrats, because elections get stolen. Now it's coming out that Elon Musk is randomly selecting a person who votes for Trump to get $1 million. So here's $1 million to you for voting for Trump, which is bribing somebody to vote, which you question whether or not that's even legal to be able to do that. So are we looking at potentially polls? A lot of these polls that are being flooded are Republican polls. You can see when you go into this, if you look a little bit closer and you look at the polling, that some of these polling, like On Message, is a Republican senators fund. Gateway, I believe, also Republican. So, though it did give Harris a 53% chance. These are not reliable polls, 1.8, 1.8. You have to ask yourself, who are they polling? This one, Beacon Research, supposedly is reliable. It's Fox News, which is one of the better polls. But again, it shows Harris losing by 2 points in the popular vote. So other people are saying that the polling is way off because young people are not being polled. Young males that think that they're going to be the next Elon Musk, of course, they're voting Republican because they're not very smart and they don't understand that they're never going to have a girlfriend again if they do this. Well, so I jokingly said that the way to get them to vote for Harris is to remind them that if she gets pregnant, you're paying child support. You're going to jail if you don't pay your child support. It's going to come out. They're going to garnish your wages. I don't think that the men that are voting for Trump understand that we're coming for them. If she gets pregnant, we're going to get you. We're going to get you and we're going to get your money. You're not going to stick us with the bill. You're not going to stick the American people with the bill of taking care of your kid. This is not a woman's problem. This is going to be your problem too. Well, we're coming for you. We're going to get every single penny you produce. It's coming. We're going to take it. And if you don't give us your money, you're going to jail. So otherwise, the kid's going to wind up in foster care, which means the state has to foot the bill and it will bankrupt the states. If you have an extra 10,000 unwanted children every year being born in Texas, who's footing the bill? Some kid that thought it wasn't his problem, who's voting Republican? No, you're going to prison, kid. You abandoned your child and then you cost the taxpayer. We're taking it out of we're coming for you. And I think that when men understand that you're not going to get away with this, this is a crime and we're going to get you, abandoning a child you've created, then the conversation flips because it's all about the wallet for people like that. They vote for Trump because they think about their wallet. They're enamored. They've got this bromance going on with Elon Musk because of some fantasy they have about being rich. Well, if you're having a bunch of kids that you can't afford, you're going to wind up in the poorhouse pretty quick. So he handed out $45 to each person attending Trump's rally. Interesting. And also $1 million check. Lichtman is very credible, but they stole the election. So there's nothing to keep them from stealing the election again in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. And so just because we won, it's not enough that we won. We also have to ensure that it's not stolen. And that's my point. So that was the first thing I wanted to make. And I make that point because what's happened in our country is that the billionaires, the wealthy, are more powerful than our government. The wealthy have become more powerful than our government. The wealthy have become more powerful than our government. It goes back to the other conversation we'd had about idol worship and why idol worship is so dangerous, because idol worship is when you sell your soul to the idol. You refuse to believe that some actor who you love and have a crush on isn't the character that they play on television or in the movie. And so a lot of people can't cope with that because they have idol worship. And so that is what one of the amazing things about the Torah, the Bible, is that it is incredibly wise when it comes to understanding human behavior. And when you turn somebody into a demigod, whether it's a king or an actor, musician, you've fallen into the risk of idol worship. And that's very dangerous to your spirituality. And it's very dangerous for the planet entirely. So what's happening is that our laws are becoming weaker and weaker and weaker as people become richer and richer and richer, which is exactly what's happening in Russia. You have the oligarchs. And so the criminal justice system is a disaster in Russia because it's bought and paid for by the oligarchs. And that is precisely what we're seeing, that trend happening to the United States because of Citizens United. So they have to appease the billionaires simply to win. Well, just pay half a percentage point if you're a billionaire. That kind of acquiescing to the rich is the death of the Constitution. So we no longer have the power. Our government no longer has the power. The billionaires and their lobbying organizations and corporations are now running the country, not our Constitution, not our government. And if this continues, if we don't begin to rein in our billionaires, we will probably see the collapse of the United States from within rather than from without. We are being weakened by things like fentanyl. People keep getting confused. Why are you blaming the Chinese for fentanyl? Well, and not being confused about drug use here in the United States. The majority of Americans are on drugs, okay? The majority of Americans here in America, the majority of Americans are on some type of pharmaceutical because we're pharmaceutical happy in the United States. We love our pharmaceuticals. And we are the most overprescribed people. In answer to that person's question, I believe they were from Australia. We are the most overprescribed, over-medicated people in the world. It affects our health. It affects our brains. The rest of the world doesn't have this many pharmaceuticals running through their system. We're on antidepressants. We're on painkillers, gabapentin, benzodiazepines, amphetamines for ADHD, Ritalin, etc. These are amphetamines. So we're on amphetamines, we're on benzodiazepines, we're on oxycodone, which is basically a pharmaceutical similar to, it's an opioid. And so what happens is that many Americans become addicted to the pharmaceuticals that are being dished out by the doctors. And so we're also going to our doctors for help, and then we're being given medications rather than being genuinely assisted in returning back to homeostasis, back to health, which requires diet changes, physical exercise, fasting, etc. Instead of returning the body to its natural order, we're simply forcing the body to do something it wouldn't naturally do through pharmaceuticals. So that's the first problem. And so once you're addicted, you become, we're not addressing our problems, right? We're not addressing the problems of poverty. We're not addressing the problems of economic disparity, and everybody is being overly medicated, which is affecting their faculties. And then China is producing the precursor drugs that make fentanyl. Large amounts of fentanyl can be made from only a few kilos of the precursor drug that makes the fentanyl. And then it's either shipped directly to the cartel in Mexico, or it's shipped to via the dark web to the United States. And then from that, it's converted to fentanyl. So I was asked if I would go into Sean Diddy Combs' energy in the middle of last night's remote, and that is what I saw. I saw, first off, that the billionaires were starting to take over, that it was weakening, that the politicians were bought and sold, and that what Sean Diddy Combs was doing was being done by our own government. So what he was doing was he was putting people in compromised situations, and he was filming them and blackmailing them. But as I went deeper into the remote, I saw people. Yes, I'm a doctor. Yeah, I'm a physician. I went to medical school. Um, and sometimes we prescribe. But it's the problem is the overprescribing. So what Sean Diddy Combs was doing is the same thing that Epstein was doing. And what Epstein was doing is the same thing that the CIA was doing. And here is what they were doing. They were getting film footage of people in compromised positions so that they could control them. So the CIA was using honeypots. They're called honeypots. And so were other countries. Israel was also linked to Epstein's antics. He was working for foreign governments that were allies of the United States, and they were setting up honeypots. And so he would set up, these honeypots go back a long time. The CIA was involved with some of the pedophile rings, some of the victims that were part of the pedophile rings in Europe, foster kids, etc., that got taken up into the pedophile rings. They were filming members of Congress, they were filming members of parliament, etc., at these parties. And then it became contraband by those foreign governments, including the CIA. So that's what happened. And so the reason they didn't get rid of Epstein was because Epstein was handing the tapes over to the CIA. And so now they have film footage of this particular prime minister or this particular congressman or whoever. And now at that point, they can control that individual. And so Epstein was basically protected by the feds. He was protected by the CIA because he was the person supplying the honeypots. He was the person that had the film footage on Prince Andrew. He had the film footage on certain prime ministers, people from foreign governments that we like to do business with. You're going to do what we want. You're going to give the American government what they want, and in exchange, we're not going to release this tape in Israel or in Germany or in Brazil or whoever it is that Epstein was able to compromise. And the deal was that Epstein was basically given carte blanche access to whoever and whatever he wanted, because there was this little deal. They didn't care that he was raping kids, because in their minds, in the minds of the CIA that was running these programs, these programs where they were getting compromised individuals to toe the line and give them what they wanted, including access to secret information for security reasons. If I've compromised you and I've got film footage of you with a 10-year-old kid, I know you're a little bit of a freak. Then you're going to hand over the security information that I need about your country that I'm doing dealings with. And that's what happened. And so that's why Epstein was meeting with Clinton and giving Clinton information and film footage about this particular shah of this particular sheik or this particular prince from Arabia or whatever. He likes little boys. He likes little girls. He likes this. He likes that. And I got some great film footage. That way you can control and contain that particular world leader. And so that's what they were doing. And then when his security was broken, when the cat was out of the bag, there comes a point where it reaches critical mass and they can no longer protect the spy, they can no longer protect the person who's getting the contraband for them. At that point, they have to take him out. And that's what happened to Epstein. And that is also what was going on with Sean Diddy Combs. So he was basically filming it and doing the same thing that the CIA was doing and the FBI, and he was handing it over. And then he had contraband. He had uh, compromised persons on film. And at that point, they're going to cooperate in any way he wanted them to cooperate. But then it reached a critical mass where too many people knew about it, too much evidence, too many people had gotten a hold of film footage on the dark web, etc. And at that point, they could the at that point it couldn't be at that point they couldn't keep it going. The operation. At that point, the operation had to be closed down. So it was an operation. So we don't care. We don't care about foster kids being shipped out of Indiana and being used because they're not people. They're discardable. They are less than nothing to us. We care about whether or not we can get contraband on these individuals. That's what we care about. We care about controlling members of the Knesset, members of Saudi Arabian royal family, etc., the British royal family. That's all we care about. These kids, kill them. We don't care. It's not a bad idea if you kill them because then they can't talk, right? So they're not crying crocodile tears over missing and dead kids from these states that were shipped in so that they could get this film footage on important people and then use them how they were going to use them. So that's what was going on. So when it reached critical mass, just like Epstein, he was taken in and, oh my God, look at the film footage. They knew the film footage. They were well aware of all the film footage because he had been handing things over. They were also interested in certain individuals in the cartel, how they operated, how they paid, who they schmoozed with, who they were paying money to, members of the foreign government leadership that were taking a cut, people that were part of shipping companies that were taking a cut. Some of the shipping companies I found out had been compromised, were taking large amounts of money to help assist in shipping certain things, and also certain politicians that were taking a cut so that certain individuals would not be prosecuted. So all that information was supplied by Sean Diddy Combs. This guy operates with this guy, this, I got this film footage, I got this person compromised, that person compromised. And so it reached critical mass, and then he was taken into custody. Jaguar Wright. Some people wanted me to talk about Jaguar Wright. Is she reliable? Is she somebody that we can trust to give information? She was certainly there. She certainly saw certain things, but much of what she says is her own personal opinion. And the problem is that for that reason, she's not a reliable witness because she will say things that she simply has no data on. One of the things she said, I did a remote view, was that Oprah and Gayle King were lovers. I did a remote view on that. No, they weren't. That's just her opinion. She also said that Michael Jackson was innocent and that the two men that accused him have retracted their story. That's blatantly false. In fact, they're in an active lawsuit against the LAPD for covering it up, and they want that information released. And that lawsuit is very much active. So she was wrong about that as well. She also said that thinks Liam Payne was murdered. I did a remote on Liam Payne last night. No, he wasn't. He was probably sexually abused and misused, and he had a drug problem. and was smashing things and having a bad drug reaction. He was doing benzodiazepines and possibly other drugs as well. I think they found either fentanyl or cocaine. But when I did the remote, I said as Liam Payne, I was Liam Payne, and I said, I am not rational. I'm not totally sure what I am doing. And so he curled himself. He didn't like the feeling inside of his body. He was smashing things. The hotel called the police. He's on a third story. We're worried he's going to hurt himself. He's got drugs because somebody in the hotel had evidently gotten him the drugs. But when I went into the remote, I was freaking out I had been clean and sober for a long time, and I had done too much of the drugs, and I began freaking out as Liam Payne. And I think I might have hurled myself off just to stop the sensations in my body. And I believe I had something up my nose from how I felt. So I was just having a bad reaction. And the violence was because I was having a bad reaction. So yes, probably sexually abused and exploited, but I was not in my right mind, and I was not totally sure what I was doing, and I was trying to stop the sensations in my body. So didn't mean to die, but was not rational at that point. I can do more on Oprah, and people had asked me if I could do more on Denzel Washington. What does this have to do with politics? It has to do with, first off, people don't want to do politics 24/7. And I think it has to do with the CIA and FBI and how they do business. And they seem to not care about kids being abused. And I think the other thing that has people deeply disturbed is the fact that the billionaires and the trillionaires have more power than our own government, and that it's nearly impossible to get into leadership in the United States since Citizen United without being compromised by powerful people. And so that is why we're basically owned and bought by the billionaires. They're going to have you pay their taxes for them because they own the politicians. And that is why we're becoming increasingly poor. They're all bought and paid for. And so the only way that we can, Denzel Washington, supposedly, according to victims of Diddy, it was the slippery slope. No, I got to leave at 10 o'clock. Why do you have to leave at 10 o'clock? When it's because I know something's going to go down. If you know something's going to go down with children, then why didn't you call the police? So that's the thing that people want to know about Denzel Washington. If you know that these children are about to be raped, well, I better leave. Why didn't you? And so the obvious answer is I didn't want to get messy. I didn't want to ruin my reputation in Hollywood. I didn't want to take on the power structure of Diddy. So I just chose to slip out, to be seen in my beautiful white, pure clothing, right? Because I'm so pure. And then leave, and then you people can go and do whatever you want with these children. So that was the first accusation about him, was that Denzel Washington knew what was going on, but chose, and many of these people had a rough idea that something weird was going on, but out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to leave and disconnect from this. So that's the biggest criticism of Denzel Washington. And then, according to witnesses, a couple times he decided he would stay a little late. Why? Because human beings get curious. You have a couple drinks. Everybody else is staying. And when I stayed in the remote, I found that every room had a different scene. It was a scene, man. So they put on a show for us. So you go into a beautiful bathroom and it's women dressed like goddesses bathing each other in a beautiful bathroom. And, you're just having fun watching this naughty scene of women in the bath with flowers and candles. And, maybe we're going to get in and do a little bit of improv. And then that scene ends, and then you go to another room, and then you see people getting whipped, right? So the after party was performance art. It was sex workers in risque clothing doing performance art. And then it gets crazier and crazier and crazier as you go from room to room. This is what it looked like to me. And then eventually you got pulled into it. And then at that point, you're drunk, you're high, you're stoned. They start filming things. So human nature, well, I'm going to leave at 10 o'clock. Oh, hell, I'll have another drink. I'll leave at 11. What's in that room? Where y'all going? Oh, you don't know? You got to come see what's up in the bathroom. They got this amazing bathroom with candles and flowers. It's massive, and there are all these naked goddesses. I'm going to take a look at that. I better go. I better go. Sure, you don't want to see what's in the next room? That's how I got pulled in. I was curious, right? Because my job is I am an HCRV practitioner. I'm a professional empath. And so human nature is, nah, man, I gotta go. I gotta go. I got a wife. I'm a Christian. Come on, man. Just have another drink. And maybe, there's a little something in the drink, and maybe you're feeling a little loose, and then you get a little curious. And so that's basically what he was accused of, that he stayed a little longer, watched a little more stuff. And oh my Lord, doesn't necessarily mean maybe he did participate, maybe he didn't, but people get curious. It is human nature that you want to stick around, you get a little curious. You're already here. People are starting to take their clothes off, right? So, and then the next thing you know, you've got, well, you know what they're doing over in that room? They're having a massive orgy. They got lotion. Are you serious, man? I got to go into that room and check that out, right? So each room had it got crazier and crazier and crazier until eventually it was an all-out Rome, right? It was like Versailles. And so that is what I saw as I went into this remote. Any questions about that? Or is that more than you guys can handle? Hey, you guys sent me there. You guys sent me there. Just remember that. Yeah, like Kay, what does Putin have on Trump? It's the same thing. A party, and it gets crazier and crazier, and then an after party, and then go into this room and that room. We're talking about a very large mansion and people running all over the mansion to different rooms, to different experiences, down in the tunnels. And what are we doing down there? And we're going to run down in the tunnels and see what they're doing. We're going to go into this room, explore the space, go check out what they're doing in the blue room. Go check out what they're doing in the red room. That's what it was. Well, there's supposedly film footage of him tying up and raping a 12-year-old child at an Epstein party, and the child has since grown up and spoken about it. And evidently, she's under MI6 protection. I think she went to Britain. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do the Empath prayer. If anyone would like to have a healing at this time to just wash off all that nasty, I'm happy to do it for you. And we can include you in our prayers. Do you need a healing? Let us know who you are, and we will send you a healing. Is there someone you love that you want to send healing to? Please let us know, and we will send you a healing. If anybody here is enjoying the show, also think about donating to feedamerica.org. We are raising money so that people who need food assistance can receive it. But yes, please let us know who you are so that we can include you in our prayers today. Anyone here who needs a healing or has somebody they care about that they would like to send healing to? All right. So if you have not had a chance to like and subscribe, I'd be very grateful. We have over 583 people here. So much gratitude that you could spend your breath. No sound. Why are people saying there's no sound? Does everybody have sound? Does everybody have sound? Samantha Mosner says she has no sound. Okay, everyone else has sound, so it's on your end. Okay, I just want to make sure everyone can hear. Let's go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer, and we send healing to those people who would like to receive a healing at this time. Okay, let's do the empath prayer together. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And may those of you who seek healing at this time for yourselves and for those you love and care about, may you receive your healing. May it be a perfect healing. And together as a community, again, we say, Amen. All right, so we're going to start today with a collective reading so that all of you can get a message from Spirit about how the week will go. The collective readings are a collective based on the collective consciousness of the world right now. And if any part of it does not speak to you, you can just pass it down to the next person because it is a smorgasbord. And so let's do it. I'm just going to push that back a little bit so I have a little space. All right. Here is the collective reading for the group, and we're using the Universal Rider-Waite, my favorite deck. Here is your collective reading for the week. Okay. Where you are at right now. Oh, my cards are backwards. Where you, oh, Ironweed, welcome to Fairies and Angels. Thank you for your membership. Where you are at right now, there is an optimism in the world. There is an optimism. We are feeling like, man, it's stacked against us. The billionaires are paying for the politicians. It's stacked against us. How do we win? How do we win? But the truth of the matter is, I think Harris is going to win because there's a horrible, no wonder they don't want her to win. No wonder they don't want her to win. They don't want her to win because Mamala is coming for you. And do you want fries with that? You know, I had to. Oh, come on. Would you like fries with your indictment? Come on. So where we are at right now is the sun's coming out. The sun's coming out. The sun's coming out. There's this brightness. Things are lifting. That's right. Kamala Justice. She used to work the fry machine at McDonald's. So, you know, would you like fries with that indictment? So then they let her then she advanced to cashier. So sun is also that good people like Anonymous are going to start releasing stuff. They're going to start releasing stuff. So you know how you have the October surprise? There is an October surprise coming for the Republicans, and they are the sun is exposure. And so remember we talked about tapes and we talked about sex scandals and the fact that now it's starting to come out that J.D. Vance likes to wear women's clothing and mascara and eyeliner. They've got pictures of him. Dressed as a woman. I mean, like, we don't care. Who cares? Like, you know how many friends I have that are trans women? Like, we don't care. But what we care about is the hypocrisy that you're going after the trans community when you yourself have a trans nature, right? So now this exposure is starting to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that in the next couple of weeks, we are going to start seeing exposure. Yes, the sun is coming out, and with it comes the truth. So if you're a good person, if you're somebody who's stuck paying as much taxes as I am, oh my God, I have so much, you know what? I'm not going anywhere because all my money is going to taxes right now. So I had some great vacations. I took money out of my savings, out of my retirement account to go on vacation. Do I regret it? No, I'm glad I did it. But most of us have to pay taxes. Most of us are trying to be good people. But now the sun is coming out, and so those people in positions of power who have done things they shouldn't have done, the tapes, etc., they're going to be released. And it involves politicians and people in positions of power. And so for you and I, it's like the sun's coming out. Nothing can be hidden. Oh, you worked at Dairy Queen? I worked at Wendy's. Yeah. So the other thing is karma, 10 of Cups, happy family. So the sun is coming out. The truth is coming out. Finally, I'm not crazy. And that, you know, just like exposure is now coming out, the UFO footage, right? The fact that there was another crash of a UFO in DC, of all places, a couple of weeks ago. So everything is coming out because everybody has a camera. And so every lie is coming out, every exposure. And so that may be why we see Trump collapsing, right? But you and I aren't collapsing. We're actually doing really well. Oh, thank God the sun is coming out. Happy days are here again. The sky again. It's clear again. Happy days are here again. Right, we got this nice sun coming out. Where we are at right now, too much fighting. We don't need to be wasting energy. It's like the book that we're reading this week, The True Nature of Energy. Energy is neutral. What are you going to do with your energy? This is a great book. Check it out. Are you going to just exhaust yourself by fighting yourself and fighting with other people? Or are you going to take your passion and start writing letters and volunteering and getting on the campaign trail and happy days and strolling to the polls, and we'll be strolling. Yeah, right. You got to be strolling to the, but don't stroll too slowly though. You know, you got to, Georgia. Did you vote in Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona? Florida is now in play, Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Did you vote, and did you vote blue? Don't waste your time fighting, waste your time getting organized. The truth is coming out. Relax. There are good people in the intelligence agencies that are going to start dumping the trumping. They're dumping everything. Just like all that stuff got released by Judge Chutkin, good people are going to start dumping stuff. So next week, expect a lot of stuff to be dumped, and you're going to be in a great mood. You're going to be in a good mood, and you're going to stop wasting your time fighting with people, and instead start grooving to a really positive energy, and be positive. And then your crossing card, heartbreak from the fighting. It's costing you your health. This fighting, it's costing you your health. It's giving you atherosclerosis, right? Now I want a Wendy's burger. I used to like Wendy's burgers. Supposedly he was nice. I know he gave a lot of money to children who were orphans. So a lot of his money went to orphanages. So yeah, that's cool. He was an orphan, I believe. So heartbreak from too much fighting. So don't fight with anybody. Don't even fight with Trump supporters. Stop the fighting. Just get organized and get out there and get the vote in. King of Cups, bridge over troubled water. Be the person who is the bridge over troubled water. Be confident in your truth. Focus on your inner world. Focus on your inner world and your inner spirituality. Some of you are looking for jobs, and you're going to have a job in the next week or so. Those of you who are looking for jobs are going to get your job. I'm seeing employment for many of you coming into your future. Walk away. Learn if something is over, let it go. If it doesn't serve you anymore, if it's just fighting and misery, hey, it didn't work. I wish you all the best. But get away from the fighting because it is draining you and it is making you sick. And instead, just get on a positive vibe and be organized, and avoid conflict. Your opposition, strife. 8 of Wands is fast and furious, but it can also be a strife card. So we don't need, what do we think we're accomplishing by arguing with people? We're not going to change their mind. Hopes and fears, stress. You see the stress? If family is driving you crazy, if you're fighting with people, avoid them. They're saying, get away from it. It's not good for your health and it's not worth it. The final outcome for you is take care of your own health. Archangel Raphael comes to you. Many of you are looking for work. You're going to find it in the next week or two. Investments in the future will be green. Look at that. Large amounts of coin are coming to many of you. Financial opportunities await. Avoid any kind of crowds where you could be exposed to infection, angry wind energy. People are trying to rile us up. Do not take the bait. And the final outcome for you, hold your ground like the Queen of Wands. Be solid in your truth, but do not engage in strife with others, and keep yourself positive, take care of your health, and don't get drained. That is your message for the week. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. Okay, let's go ahead. And when I get the order, we will blitz away. And then if you have a question for me from the cards, I would be happy, joyful, happy to blitz away with you. Hi, Terry Courts. If Diana Tiari is here somewhere, She sent me a gift. I have not opened the gift. I put the box somewhere and said, I'll open it later. And now I can't remember where I put the box. I'll find it. I put it somewhere by my office. But thank you to Diane Thierry, for the gift. I will open it as soon as I can locate it. I stacked it with a bunch of my papers or something. I have to go find it. But thank you, Diane. It's very kind of you. Okay, so Marie Comedy voted in California. Trump wanted Kennedy, so hopefully he will be an advisor. Also, Tulsi and Shen. Okay, so we do have some Trump supporters here. It's important that people vote. Everybody has a right to vote, and as long as you are voting your conscience. And more, North Carolina voted yesterday. Be sure to vote no on final question, constitutional amendment, trick question. Thank goodness I was given a guide to use. Oh, good. Who is worse, Diddy or Epstein? Diddy. Diddy is far worse. Epstein sent kids to school and university and paid for a bunch of people to have an education. And in fact, some of the girls refused to speak bad about him because they genuinely liked him. So Epstein was horrible pedophile, but he was also building people up and saying, you can be whatever you want to be. I'll pay for your education, and sending them to the Cordon Bleu in Paris to become chefs. So he was a complicated man, whereas Diddy is a true psychopath. Yeah. How is the mess getting fixed? We have to vote. We have to vote and have our voices heard. Voting in Seattle, voting blue. Okay, good. All right, first question is coming from Joel Tilson. Thank you, Joel, for your help today. Will Citizens United be overturned? Will Citizens United be overturned? Not without a constitutional amendment, probably, but let's take a look. A lot of confusion because the people voting in Congress are benefiting from it. But we like it because that paid for my campaign. The opposition is the courts. We all benefited financially. You want me to not get a raise? Hopes and fears the judgment. And then the final outcome for Citizens United, victory 6 months. So over the issue, scholarship. New judges are coming in, more women on the bench. We could be seeing Citizens United overturned by judges in the states, at the state, federal, and appellate courts. And more female leadership coming in. Yeah. So yes, it starts at the state level. So nobody from that state running in that state, they have to adhere to the rules of that state. Why go to a party? Will you go to be seen, to pose, to wind up in People magazine, to wind up relevant in the industry, but not because you like these people and not because you want to be friends and party. You're not there to party. It's a business thing. It's business, and you're there to be seen and to pose and to look popular and beautiful so that people will worship and adore you like an idol. And then they'll go to see your movies, and then you'll continue to be relevant. It's work. It's work. Okay, what does Putin have on Trump? Let's take a look. What does Putin have on Trump? Well, he definitely controls him. 5 of Swords would be to take the weapon away. So it was about sex, Ace of Wands. It was about taking the weapons away from the Americans by compromising them and believing that you can control Americans if you with money. because we are so our country is so focused on money and billionaires, etc. And so it was a case of it's mostly financial. He owed him money. He borrowed massive amounts of money, even more than sex. It was that he had taken out so many loans to the Russians and he owed a lot of money. What about Oprah? So there are supposedly some pictures of Oprah in bed with Diddy that have been shot. Did he drug her? And it was filmed. But there's some very strange pictures on the dark web of Oprah and Diddy. Pictures of guys with their shirts off touching her at a party. Then another picture, it looks like Diddy on top of her in a bed. I don't know if they're fake, if it's a fake Oprah or what, or if she was drugged at one point. And so the question is, are these pictures real? Are they doctored pictures? Did she go to a party and get raped? Is that the secret? In which case, was she participating or was she herself a victim getting pulled into this? What a nightmare, right? So let's find out. My concern is that she was attacked more than that she participated, right? She was betrayed, possibly attacked, or they did something. Maybe they spiked her and then they created fake pictures. She was betrayed. Accumulated a lot of evidence against her. Oh, she presents as the Queen of Pentacles, Keeper of Secrets. Six of Cups. She may have been put in a situation where they created fake pictures. They've done that. I've seen them do stuff like that where they'll have a bunch of people run out with their shirts off and then grab them and get the picture, and then the person is just standing there innocent. So he could have tried to have doctored pictures on her or doctored a scene. That's what it looks like. Okay, has some pretty good attorneys. Diddy does. Will he see trial? What's going to happen to Diddy? There's a lot of confusion about the case because there's a tremendous amount of evidence against him. He is upset because he keeps talking in the remote about how many people he's helped. He sees himself as having done a lot of favors for people, including the feds, and so they need to help him. He's facing charges in multiple states, not just New York, but also California, according to these cards. He has coronary artery disease and health concerns, possibly due to his lifestyle. And you can also see here a health concern. Plea deal. So in the next few months, regarding the judgment, he'll be offered some kind of a deal in order to give up information, which is pointless because he was supplying this information to people about certain people. He was supplying stuff and they were well aware of what he was doing. But he'll make some kind of a deal. So yeah, I would imagine that he is going to trial if he's going to be making a deal. He's already gone before the judge one time. Okay, we did the empath prayer. Okay, we're going to keep going. Send healing. Checked our sound. It was good. Yay. And we got a nice blitz away, it looks like. So Arizona Republicans are sick of 45, just reported. Yeah, you know, what's interesting is that many of them are endorsing Kamala, which I think is kind of interesting, that they're actually endorsing her. And it could be one of the reasons why we see Arizona flipping. A lot of people are endorsing Trump, but a lot of people are not. And I think it was because, well, I think January 6th was the last straw for a lot of people. Yes, there's many lawsuits against Diddy. So I think also class action because his employees maybe are not going to get paid. He had a lot of employees and a lot of bills. And so for that reason, I would assume that he's going to get a class action lawsuit. You know, it's the death of the McMansions. You know, it's the death of the McMansions. It's finished in Hollywood. It was never supposed to be. It should never have been like that. It never should have been this salacious, and inevitably, it was bound to come to an end. The party ended. It's like The Great Gatsby, right? Where everybody wants to go and they want to have fun, but in the end, nobody is loyal to anybody else. Yeah. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed having brunch with me. We had a wonderful crowd of 685 people, and I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Please think about donating to feedamerica.org. It's definitely worthwhile. If you had any fun today, to think about giving a donation. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, oh, was Michael Jackson involved with Diddy? I don't think so. It's more that the two men that came out as having been raped by him are demanding that the LAPD release the evidence they had on him, because it showed that the LAPD has been complicit in the, you know, don't worship idols, right? That's the takeaway, is we should have a relationship with spirituality, and keep your own house clean, and don't worship particularly people you don't personally know, because yeah, that's the takeaway. All right, if you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find the information below. I'll be back tomorrow, Monday, seeing clients. So on that happy note, my beloveds, yes, Hamas is surrendering. Did you want to see that? Yeah, I can show you that. Hundreds of Hamas have begun surrendering. And so I can tell you, because I sent the phases. I sent the phases to the IDF in December, and I know they're following the phases because Joe Biden said so. Because Joe Biden said so. If you look at the phases sent December 20th, we will exchange hostages, send Hamas to host country. So we're also seeing dismantling of Iranian leadership and isolation of Putin. Yeah. Fun show today, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and be well. Be kind to all, so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.